Hi, I wanted to give a quick shout out to the Math Learning Center's Fractions app. You can find this at the www.mathlearningcenter.org/resources/apps. There's a bunch of them here. The fractions are great. The number frames are awesome. The number line is really cool. These number pieces are good for multiplication and showing arrays and so on and so forth. So let's take a look at the fractions one. This application, and this is true for all of them, you can open it right in a web browser. You can download it for an Apple device, or you can get it from the Chrome store, which I believe works on Android devices, or you can get a Chrome application, which is just like the browser without all the browser buttons. So let's take a look at the web app version. And here it is. This down here in blue is our workspace. You have two shapes to work with. That's it, unfortunately, just rectangles and circles. But immediately it asks you how many partitions you want to make. And you can use these handles here to resize it. There are these color palettes down here, so you can choose a color and color in some of the partitions. To turn the color off, you just click on the color again. This is a label tool, so it can label the number of partitions that are colored and the total number of partitions, as kids are still learning to name the fractions. You can turn that label off. We can create a clone of this by hitting the duplicate button. That's the superimposed rectangles here. We could turn that vertically if we want, or back around. And this is useful if you want to point out that, say, for example, 2/5 and 2/5 are not equivalent unless the whole unit is the same. We can trash this. We could use the duplicate toolbar. Let me uncolor these, for example. You could use the duplication toolbar if you are counting by fractions. This is a great counting activity, especially to indicate to kids where one is, or where half. Now we won't do half on this one, but so we could just start counting fifths. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. Clap or jump or make some sort of kinesthetic indication that we've reached a whole number. 6/5, 7/5, 8/5, 9/5, 10/5. How do we know this is over 1? Well, we have a numerator that's greater than the denominator. We get to 10/5, that's 2. And we have 11/5 and so on. There is a tool here for writing. That's useful if if you have a stylus or your touch screen. You can ask questions like how many, or which is greater than. As you can tell, I don't recommend using a mouse to write here. How many fifths? And then if you're ashamed of your writing, you can just grab the eraser and erase it. But it's great if you just want to pose a question, take a screenshot and put it up in your PowerPoint in the morning, that sort of thing. I'll turn off the drawing tool. There is a typing tool. So I might say something like, I have 2 whole groups of fifths. That equals 10/5. It's really not a calculator, although it looks like it, but it's really just more for typing something out on the screen to indicate what's going on here. And then you might say, well, we've added 2 more to that. So you'd say plus 2 more fifths equals a total of 12/5. Yeah. So that's it. It's like I think I briefly mentioned, it's great if you want to make fractions on the fly. It's easier than getting out scissors or trying to trace or draw a perfect rectangle. It's great for throwing together images that meet your teaching point and taking a screenshot. You can just drop that into a PowerPoint or print it out for your document camera. Anyway, it's useful for all sorts of things, and hopefully it's useful to you. Thanks a lot.